We have some terribly sad breaking news from the LA sports world this morning. LA Lakers legend Jerry West has died. Not only was he a Hall of Fame player, he was also the inspiration of the NBA logo. West was also an executive and helped create the Lakers dynasty.
And in a short statement, the LA Clippers, who West was working for, said that he died peacefully this morning with his wife Karen by his side. KCAL sports director Jim Hill looks back at West's life and career.
From humble beginnings in West Virginia to a starring role in Los Angeles, Jerry West carved out a legacy that went well beyond basketball and remains second to none. Known for his toughness, unrelenting perfection, and drive to win, West became a Laker legend during his brilliant 14-year NBA career, earning All-Star selections each season he played, becoming the first and only player from the losing team to win Finals MVP in 1969. And finally, in 1972, he became an NBA champion for the first time.
And the Los Angeles Lakers are the world champions.
As a scout and general manager, West then helped to mold the Laker franchise's two most storied dynasties, the Showtime Lakers of the 1980s and the Shaq and Kobe era of the late 90s and early 2000s, directly overseeing 4 more NBA championships before stepping away in the year 2000, following 40 years with purple and gold. From his induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame to being awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
This one is really significant because this goes beyond being an athlete.
West garnered countless accolades throughout decades of dedication. One of the most revered figures in the NBA, West was also a man of many nicknames, from Mr. Outside and Mr. Clutch to the Logo. West would team up with Elgin Baylor to form Los Angeles' first superstar tandem, leading the Lakers to 6 NBA final appearances in the 1960s.
West throws it up. He makes it. West threw it up and makes it.
But it wasn't until his 8th final trip in 1972 that West finally reached the peak of the NBA, capping off a 69-win season that included a record 33-game winning streak by the Lakers to win the first title for the city of Los Angeles. All in all, West reached the finals 9 times in 14 seasons before he retired in 1974 as the 3rd leading scorer in NBA history. West would later become head coach of the Lakers from 1976 to 1979. West's bond with the franchise continued to grow when he eventually took over as general manager in 1982. Overseeing 3 titles in the 80s and another one in the year 2000, West was named Executive of the Year in 1995, and one of his great personal joys was when he made the draft night trade with a 17-year-old future superstar named Kobe Bryant, with whom he would form a fatherly bond. Following 4 decades with the Lakers, West went on to work with the Memphis Grizzlies, the Golden State Warriors, and back in LA with the Clippers in the twilight of his career, finding success at each stop. As a true trailblazer and among the all-time greats of the game, Jerry West certainly leaves behind an indelible legacy.
And we have sports insider Mike Hill here with us this morning. And this is sad breaking news.
Yeah, very sad. I know he was 86 years old, but Jerry West, obviously, he was the logo. We can talk about all his accolades all day long, but you heard Jim eloquently talk about it and give his resume about his playing career when he was at West Virginia. He won everywhere he went. He was an Olympic gold medalist, of course, won with the Lakers, won the championship there. He was always a winner, and he took losing very hard. But I want to talk about the man that he was. I actually had the fortunate pleasure of working with Jerry West for a while when I was working with the LA Clippers when I was doing the pre and post game show.
And what was he like, Mike?
This man was an incredibly nice and humble guy for being of his stature. He always came around. He always greeted you with a handshake, always greeted you with a smile, always had a story to tell, always had time for you. This is a very sad day for not only the Lakers organization, the Clippers organization, but the game of the basketball, of NBA basketball around the world. He was an ambassador. Everywhere he went, everybody knew who he was. He built these dynasties, obviously with the Lakers in the 80s with Showtime. He was the architect of bringing Shaq and Kobe together. And he helped build all these championships. As great as he was as a player, I think he was even better as an executive. Of knowing what kind of talent to bring around. Even when he was with the Clippers talking to us, I would always hear him say what the Clippers needed to do and how they needed to come together and what kind of players they would have. And so you got to give him a lot of love and a lot of respect. Once again, it's hard for us to lose him, but like I said, he took losing hard, and I know he's in a better place right now. He's not in any kind of pain or whatnot, and we wish him we wish his family all the best and all our condolences right now.
Absolutely. And it's so rare to have someone who's so good at so many things and also a nice, humble person.
Always. I mean, that's what made him so unique, so great, because like I said, he is the logo. He is everybody in the NBA and around basketball and around the world of sports respected and loved Jerry West. I've never heard anything negative about him except that he hated to lose. And he took that but that's okay. That's the what we love about competitive sports. He's always out there. And even all of the championships he brought in the 80s with Showtime and all the championships that he helped build with the Golden State Warriors as a consultant and brought this present Clippers team together, even though they never won a championship. They were competitive when he was with that team there. And even in Memphis, a lot of people give him a lot of credit for actually helping the Lakers win a couple of more championships, because he was with Memphis and he was the reason that they traded Pau Gasol to the Lakers at one time for Kwame Brown, and that helped the Lakers win a couple of more championships with Kobe and Pau Gasol. So once again, a very big loss for the game of basketball, for sports, but also for humanity today.
Oh my goodness, and he leaves behind such an amazing legacy. Let's bring in our Jim Hill. He's joining us on the phone this morning to talk more about this legacy and this great loss of a legend this morning. Jim, thank you for joining us.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And we're just, we've been seeing his pictures throughout the years, always with a huge smile on his face, kind of beaming. And you can see just by the still photos how people respected him and wanted to be around him.
This one really hurts. Jerry West is one of the most important people to me personally and professionally. He was a mentor for me. He was a guy that I could call at any time of the day or night, no matter what the situation, and he was always there for me. Throughout the course of your life, if you're lucky, if you're really lucky, you'll run into an individual who will have a profound impact on you, not only professionally, but more important, personally. And that's what, and I'm not going to say was, because he still lives in my heart. That's what Jerry West is to me. And like I said, this one really hurts, because Jerry was there for me in a lot of times when I didn't know what direction to go to. So there are a lot of us that feel that same way. He was not only that way to me, but there are literally dozens and dozens of not only athletes, but people in the world of business that admired, loved, and respected Jerry West.
Well, Jim, I'm so sorry for your loss. Is there a moment or a story, you clearly knew him as a friend and a mentor, that stands out to you, something he helped you with, or something that would give us a better sense of what he was like as a person?
Everything in my life. There's no one thing that stands. Jerry was family. He was family to me. He made me feel like family to him. I remember when we lost our mother, and Jerry called just to say if there was something that I needed, he was right there for me. And he didn't. And when you losing someone is always tough to take. But it's when it's your family and it's that close, like it's your mother. You never forget the people that call in to say, "I'm here for you." And he was one of the first. He called me, and this is more than just the loss of a friend. This is the loss of a family member, not only to me, but to, there's no telling how many dozens and dozens of people Jerry made them feel like they were family to him, and vice versa.
Jim, I felt that, and I feel your pain as well. It's a very tough loss for me as well. And I'm sorry that he's gone away right now. But I want to ask you, because you just touched on it a little bit, as many accolades as he has in the basketball world, this is a man that every time you would walk up to him, he always had time for you. And it didn't matter who you were. Obviously, you're a legend here in the sports community in LA, but you could have been a production assistant, you could have been a janitor, whatever. Jerry West always had time for people.
Well, the big person in the heavens above sent us Jerry West for a multitude of reasons, one of which is to make us better individuals. Mm-hmm. And it is, there are not enough descriptive adjectives to describe how he has helped not only me, but so many of us. There are people literally all over the world that Jerry has touched, and he means so much to. Certainly, this is a day of mourning and sadness, but it's also a time for us to say thank you for having for being in his presence. Because I wouldn't be. It would just be very difficult for me if I hadn't been around Jerry West. It would be difficult for me to be doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah, I'm sure the tributes are going to be pouring in the days and weeks to come. What about on a macro level, what he did for LA as a whole and the sports world as a whole?
Jerry helped people in other sports, not just basketball. Mm-hmm. There was many times I was sitting in his office sometimes, and he would have commissioners call him, not only commissioners from basketball, but he would have commissioners call him from other sports, and that's unheard of. Because just all commissioners want to try and keep everything in house, but they did not hesitate to call Jerry West to seek his advice, because they knew that he sent us from the heavens above.
He leaves behind such an amazing legacy, and there's so much, as you both have spoken for, not just professionally, but personally, he impacted so many lives. Looking forward down the road, long time from now, what do you think the parts of that legacy that are going to remain with us and stand out forever?
Be yourself. Do what's right. Honor thy father and thy mother. Jerry he believed in the heavens above, and if we can just do or be just a very small part of what Jerry West means to all of us, not only we as individuals, but we as a city, we as a state, we as a country, we as a world will be a better place to live. Because he was sent to us from the heavens above. And if we learn one thing, it's treat your fellow mankind the way you want to be treated yourself. And that's and those are just small things. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this one hurts. Mm-hmm. This one hurts because this is personal to me, and I respect him as a man. I thank him as an advisor. I trust him and I use him still in present tense. I trust him to give me, to always be there as a friend. And like I said, he's one of the most important people to me, not only professionally, but more important personally.
Yeah, he's looking over all of us right now, Jim. You're talking about him as a person, as a role model, as somebody who spoke out as an advocate, somebody who wasn't afraid to talk about his own personal life off the court and the things that he had to struggle with. He talked about his depression. Of course, we know about his brother losing his life early on in his career, but as a mental health advocate and the help that he gave to others to be that role model, to set the example for other people. We got to give him a lot of accolades and a lot of kudos for everything that he has provided for us in his 86 years of life here on this earth.
He's a gift from the heavens above. The likes of a Jerry West will never pass our way again. And for those of us who had the distinct privilege and honor of meeting him and knowing him and having been in his presence, we're better off for no matter how long or how short a time we were around it. And I shall never forget the likes of Jerry West.
Well, our condolences to both of you.
Yes.
We're friends with him on a personal level, and to his family, of course, and to all of LA and to the sports world. We will, of course, continue to follow this huge breaking news story in the sports world. Jim Hill, thank you so much for joining us on the phone, and Mike, thank you.
Yeah.
And now back to the death of LA sports legend Jerry West. He was not only a Hall of Fame player, but also a Hall of Fame executive.
And KCAL sports director Jim Hill is taking a look back at West's career and life.
From humble beginnings in West Virginia to a starring role in Los Angeles, Jerry West carved out a legacy that went well beyond basketball and remains second to none. Known for his toughness, unrelenting perfection, and drive to win, West became a Laker legend during his brilliant 14-year NBA career, earning All-Star selections each season he played, becoming the first and only player from the losing team to win Finals MVP in 1969. And finally, in 1972, he became an NBA champion for the first time.
And the Los Angeles Lakers are the world champions.
As a scout and general manager, West then helped to mold the Laker franchise's two most storied dynasties, the Showtime Lakers of the 1980s and the Shaq and Kobe era of the late 90s and early 2000s, directly overseeing 4 more NBA championships before stepping away in the year 2000 following 40 years with purple and gold. From his induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame to being awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
This one is really significant because this goes beyond being an athlete.
West garnered countless accolades throughout decades of dedication. One of the most revered figures in the NBA, West was also a man of many nicknames, from Mr. Outside and Mr. Clutch to the Logo. West would team up with Elgin Baylor to form Los Angeles' first superstar tandem, leading the Lakers to 6 NBA final appearances in the 1960s.
West throws it up. He makes it. West threw it up and makes it.
But it wasn't until his 8th final trip in 1972 that West finally reached the peak of the NBA, capping off a 69-win season that included a record 33-game winning streak by the Lakers to win the first title for the city of Los Angeles. All in all, West reached the finals 9 times in 14 seasons before he retired in 1974 as the 3rd leading scorer in NBA history. West would later become head coach of the Lakers from 1976 to 1979. West's bond with the franchise continued to grow when he eventually took over as general manager in 1982. Overseeing 3 titles in the 80s and another one in the year 2000, West was named Executive of the Year in 1995, and one of his great personal joys was when he made the draft night trade for a 17-year-old future superstar named Kobe Bryant, with whom he would form a fatherly bond. Following 4 decades with the Lakers, West went on to work with the Memphis Grizzlies, the Golden State Warriors, and back in LA with the Clippers in the twilight of his career, finding success at each stop. As a true trailblazer and among the all-time greats of the game, Jerry West certainly leaves behind an indelible legacy.
And that's an understatement. Joining us now is KCAL Sports Insider Mike Hill. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
This is such a big loss for the sports world, for the basketball world, for LA, but also for you personally. You knew him personally.
Yeah, a very sad day. I hate days like this. Obviously, I know it's our job to come in here and talk after the loss of somebody that's so important in the world of sports. But Jerry West was an icon in every way. And I'm not just talking about from a basketball perspective, from a sports perspective, but from a life perspective. This guy was somebody who was always kind, always had something good to say, no matter who you were. You can be an executive, you can be a super important person in life or whatever. You can be a politician, or you could be a janitor, and he always had a smile, as you saw in some of those pictures. He always had a story to tell. He always had something to make you laugh, to make you smile, to make you feel special. So, you know, when I came out here the last hour, it had just broken. And I think I was still in shock, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And right after I got off the set, it just actually kind of hit me. So this is a very sad day, like I said, for the world of basketball. You know, when we talk about Jerry West, you know, we talk about all the accolades that you just heard Jim talking about there. He was a winner when he was at West Virginia. He won a lot when he was with the Lakers. Unfortunately, he ran into a lot of great Boston Celtics teams that stopped him from winning championships, which always haunted him for a long period of time. But then after his playing career, you know, this is a guy who went on to become, in my opinion, the greatest executive that the game has ever seen. You know, with the building the Lakers dynasties and even going on to help the Memphis Grizzlies become contenders, the Golden State Warriors as consultants, and a big reason why the Clippers in the last couple of years have been as good as they have been, even though they haven't been able to win the championship, is because of the way he can dissect and he can consult and put things together. I always call him Midas. I know we always, we got these nicknames for him. He's the logo, he's Mr. Clutch. I always called him Midas because he always had the golden touch. No matter where he went, like I said, he would construct these teams that would win. So once again, just forget about the things that he did on the court, which I believe he was the greatest basketball overall individual in the history of the sport of basketball, with everything that he was able to accomplish from playing and as an executive, whatnot. But this is a tough loss for all of us today.
And his professional accolades, well known. Thank you for speaking to us during your grief this morning. We know this is a hard morning for you and Jim Hill, who spoke with us earlier. Tell us how you first met him. Tell us about that first interaction and what you remember.
You know, it's always surreal when you meet these guys who are larger than life. You know, as a sportscaster, you know, you get a chance to meet some of your heroes. You get a chance to meet some of these guys that you only watched as kids, you know, growing up. And then when you meet them, you know, you're wondering if they're going to be nice, or they're going to be everything that you want them to be. And Jerry West was, you know, just larger than life. Even though we're the same size, but he looked bigger than me. You know what I mean? He's Jerry West is like 6'3". He had this presence about him. His arms are super long. It almost didn't seem like.
Mike, that is such a random one.
It is. His arms are super. It just seemed like his arms didn't fit his body, but he just seemed like he was larger than life. And when he walked in the room, it's almost like he had this aura about him, you know, not just from people like me who were sportscasters, but from even the other players. I mean, there is a reverence that you have for Jerry West, the respect that he had around the league. And as you heard Jim even talk about in the last hour there, you know, the respect that he got from other commissioners and other people in other sports. Everybody knows who Jerry West is. I mean, like I said, this guy's 86 years old, and once again, he hated to lose. So it's almost like for us, we hate to have lost him. You know what I mean? Because this just everything that he was able to bring to the table.
But when you have a legacy like that, you're never gone.
No,
right?
never.
So he will be honored and remembered, and we will be sharing more tributes, and we appreciate your personal anecdotes as well.
Absolutely.
So thank
Sorry
you.
for your loss. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, and NBA Commissioner Adam Silver just released a statement. This was just minutes ago. It says in part, Jerry West was a basketball genius and a defining figure in our league for more than 60 years. He distinguished himself not only as an NBA champion and an all-star in all 14 of his playing seasons, but also as a consummate competitor who embraced the biggest moments. He was the league's first finals MVP and made rising to the occasion his signature quality, earning him the nickname Mr. Clutch. He ended saying, on behalf of the NBA, we send out deep condolences to Jerry's wife, Karen, his family, and his many friends in the NBA community. And we will have continuing coverage on Jerry West's life and legacy and his impact here in LA and across the sports world. Stay with us here on KCAL News and KCALnews.com. We're also streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles. We want to take a live look now at the statue outside of Crypto.com Arena in downtown that honors Jerry West. Of course, we lost a legend this morning at 86 years old, and this is just one of the many ways he will be remembered. Of course, his silhouette is on the NBA logo. He was a player, a coach, a general manager, and a wonderful person. We're hearing from everyone, including those in our studio, who knew him.
Absolutely, and we are continuing to remember West, who died this morning at the age of 86.
And KCAL News Sports Director Jim Hill is joining us now. You spoke with us earlier on the phone. First of all, thank you for speaking with us through your grief, Jim, this morning. I know this is a hard morning for you.
No, it's more difficult than hard.
Yeah.
Jerry's one of the 5 most important people in my career.
Wow.
And we knew he was ill. But I've talked to a lot of people, and in just a couple of moments, we're going to have Bill Plaschke on from the LA Times. It's tough. It's hard. I mean, when you're talking about someone who is important to you, not only professionally but personally. There were a lot of times I'd call Jerry in the middle of the night. I said, "Jerry, I need to talk." He said, "What is it?" And it wasn't only just to me. He was like that with everybody. He's a gift from the heavens above. And like I said a little while ago, the likes of a Jerry West shall never pass our way again. For those who knew him and he helped, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who didn't have the privilege of being in his presence, you missed out.
We didn't. Tell us more about him. Was he funny? Was he stern? What was he like as a person?
Every emotion you could think of, he was. But one of the great things about him was that he knew exactly how to apply a certain characteristic to a certain situation. It's like he had the gift. I mean, not only in basketball, but people from other sports would call him. Commissioners from other sports would call him because he had that reputation. And word spreads. Word spreads when you do things bad. Word spreads when you do things good. And Jerry always did good by people. He was good in the community. He was giving back to the community, giving back to charities. He made sure that his players and his organization did that. But don't get it twisted now. When Jerry wanted to come down on you, he did.
He didn't like to lose, right?
You didn't want the wrath of Jerry West coming down on you. But from a personal standpoint, once again, one of the 5 most important people, not only in my professional career, but my personal career, my personal life. He helped me in some situations that I thought were just horrific. And he would say, "James," when he said that, everything just kind of calmed down. But there are others that have stories that are much more graphic than mine. But I'm so glad that I passed his way, because some of the things that I've learned are going to help me for a lifetime. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I know you have someone special on the phone you wanted to talk to a little bit.
Yeah, Bill Plaschke of the LA Times.
Yeah,
Is
and
Bill?
he's with us.
Yeah, is Bill? Bill, you there?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, it's a very sad morning.
Yeah, Bill, talk to us about just a little bit about what he meant to us, not only as professionally, but personally.
Well, he was professionally. He was the most important person in the history of professional basketball in Southern California. Remember, he was the first draft pick of the LA Lakers. He brought basketball here. He made basketball popular here. He built Showtime. He built Kobe and Shaq. He's the architect of the greatest basketball crop we've had here. I mean, he's the logo. He's the legend. He's Mr. Clutch. He's everything. And he was. I think the word you were asking about how to describe it, the best word for me would be tortured. He was so tortured, wasn't he, Jim? He always, when he lost, he couldn't take it. When there was uncertainty, he couldn't take it. I remember trying to get a hold of him during the Lakers' first championship run with Shaq and Kobe in 2000, and he wasn't at the game. And I tried to call him and said, "Where are you?" He was driving on the 101 freeway, up and down the freeway during the game, but couldn't stand to watch it. He was driving his car, listening to the game on the radio, getting updates on the radio, because he couldn't stand to watch it. He was so tortured. He was he had to win. He had to succeed. And he succeeded. He was such a class guy. Like he said, he talked to everybody, talked to me for hours on end, anytime you called him. And I think it hurt him. I think, Jim, what gets me is that the announcement of his death was made by the Clippers. And I love the Clippers, and I love Steve Ballmer, and I love the organization. I love everything they're doing. But Jerry West was a Laker. And it's sad that he wasn't able to go out of this world as a Laker. I think that would make him sad, too. You
know, Bill, and also there are stories of players, of Laker players, of other players in the NBA that Jerry helped not only professionally but personally. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, he was a great sounding board for everybody. He would talk. He'd ask about your life, he'd ask about your career, he'd ask about how you're doing, and ask about my columns and how my columns are doing. He was very much like that. He was, he's a touchstone for everybody. You know, up until he would come in, he'd come into the games very regally, and he'd sit down. And he was 6'4". Every inch of 6'4". He had the shock of white hair. He'd sit down in the baseline, and people would just come up to him like he was a guru or a god, looking for advice, looking for wisdom, looking for encouragement, looking for anything. He was like that. He was Southern California basketball. He really was. And it's such a giant loss. It's such a huge loss. And again, I wish he and the Lakers had made up at the end of it. And he was a Laker. Let's face it, he was a Laker. He worked with Golden State, worked with Memphis. In his career with the Clippers, he was so good to him. Such a classy organization. But Jerry West will be forever in my mind a Laker. Arguably, Jim, the greatest Laker.
Yeah, you're right.
And you can say Kobe, but Jerry West spanned both. Jerry West spanned both of them. Jerry West cultivated magic and traded for Kobe. So I think he's going to get the argument. I'll probably make that in my column today. He was the greatest Laker ever.
Bill, I appreciate you taking the time because I know you're busy with your column and busy with people calling you. I appreciate it, and I know what you meant to Jerry and the influence that he had on you and to all of us. And thanks so much for taking the time.
Anything for you, Jim. Anything at all. Call anytime. Thank you.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Now, there's one of the premier columnists in the whole country having difficulty describing what Jerry means to him like I am. Mm-hmm. I wish you had been around him. I wish you had been around him and had talked to him. He would have changed your life. You know, he was a gift from the heavens above. Every once in a while, the big person upstairs sends someone down to say, ding. And that's what he did with Jerry West. Said, Jerry, I need you to go down there and help not only athletes, but people just in everyday life. There were people that called him about money issues that they had. And what did he do? He helped them. So I'm glad that we had a chance to meet him, not understand him, because he had his Jerry West ways now that no one understood. No, you're not supposed to understand. All you're supposed to understand is what he told you and the advice that he gave you. Right. So, but I will forever be indebted to Jerry West for what he has done for me, like I said earlier, not only professionally, but more important, personally.
Certainly. Well, Jim, thank you for sharing that
really
as you're grieving.
Your insight as well,
you got
personally and professionally.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
And he'll live on through you and all the lives he touched.
And there's a lot of them, too.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, we'll have continuing coverage on Jerry West's life and legacy and his impact here in LA and all across the sports world. Stay with us here on KCAL News and KCALnews.com. We're also streaming 24/7 on CBS News Los Angeles.
KCAL Sports Insider Mike Hill joining me now to talk more about Jerry West's extensive legacy, really stretching from here in LA to so far beyond. He accomplished so much as a player, a coach, a general manager. What do you view as his greatest accomplishment in the NBA?
Wow, he accomplished so much. I would say that Jerry West, in my opinion, is the most accomplished person in the history of the NBA, from what he did on the court and off the court and his contributions. This is a man who is in the Hall of Fame in 3 different categories: as a player, as an Olympian, and now as a contributor. He's going in actually inducted in this year in 2024. But overall, I would say, even though he had an outstanding playing career, his contribution off the court as a general manager. I used to call him Midas, even though he had other nicknames like Mr. Clutch and the logo. We'll talk about that in a second. He just had that magical touch that he could move players around in a chessboard to create these dynasties, not just great teams, but these dynasties with the Lakers in the Showtime era with Kobe and Shaq. He saw in Kobe Bryant, a young Kobe Bryant coming out of high school who was a phenom, what other people didn't see because he traded Vlade Divac, which at the time probably wasn't a big trade, a big deal here in LA, but he made that move to bring Kobe here on that draft day, and then he went on to Golden State to help them create their dynasty, and with the Clippers as good as they have become over the past couple of years, and even with the Memphis Grizzlies, even though they haven't won a championship or whatnot, he made them legitimate contenders in the NBA for so many years. So many great things he's been able to accomplish. But as an executive, he's been phenomenal. Like I said, he's Midas, and he'll definitely be missed.
And I mean, he was a great player. There have been a lot of great players, but the majority don't go on to be great GMs.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so tough. I mean, you've seen other players, Michael Jordan, for instance, to come off the basketball court, as great as he was on the NBA court, to go on to become an executive. It's a tougher job, and that's one of the things that I could say, well, Michael Jordan, he would hate to hear this, is that he failed at doing. So this is why when people consider GOAT status, and, Michael Jordan, you're talking about LeBron James, but once again, when it comes to the contribution overall of everything in basketball, when you think about it, there is no one who is more accomplished in the game of basketball than Jerry West. And once again, being a general manager and an executive and a consultant with the Clippers for so many years, helping them to make their moves and the right moves that they've been able to make over the last couple of years, it's been tough, but he's been able to do it.
Let's talk a little bit more. You touched on it, the logo.
Yeah.
That's him. The
NBA. Well, the NBA has never acknowledged that it's actually him. And I don't know if it's because they don't want to pay rights fees or whatever, but everyone knows it's Jerry West because that logo was taken back in 1969. And there was a guy who was commissioned to create the logo for the NBA in 1969. And he admitted that he took that from a picture of Jerry West on the basketball court or whatnot. Jerry West never really embraced the logo. He didn't want the, I don't know, the impact of actually having the logo being after him. And as a matter of fact, he's said that maybe it should go to someone else or whatnot. He didn't name a particular player, but over the years, you've heard other people come out and saying maybe it's time for a change in the logo. You've heard Michael Jordan, the jump man, being a replacement, even Kobe Bryant as a replacement as well. But Jerry West never acknowledged it, but everyone knows that's Jerry West as the logo of the NBA. And now that he's passed on, I can't see that iconic logo being anyone else right now, even though I revere the other players that were I just named there.
Absolutely. It's a perfect logo, and I hope it doesn't change.
It shouldn't change. It shouldn't change. We'll definitely miss Jerry West. Everything that we've heard about Jerry West today, as far as his accomplishments on the court and what he's been doing behind the scenes, man, there was a no better individual. I mean, he had a steely gaze. When he walked into a room, he just had a presence about him. We were actually the same height in a sense. He may be a little bit taller, but he just seemed like he had a presence when he walked in the room, and he just had such an endearing personality and such. He had so much love for anybody that walked up to him. And that's what I'll miss the most about him, having met him and having the pleasure of being around him. Never claimed to be the closest to him or whatever, but the great thing about having somebody like Jerry West is you didn't have to be close to him for him to make you feel like you're special. Wow. So you could have been the president of the United States, or you could have been a janitor at Crypto Arena, and he would have some time, he would have stories for you. And I've heard numerous stories of numerous people talking about the impact that he had in a short amount of time, if they had a short amount of time with Jerry West, so he'll definitely be missed.
Yeah, I imagine so, because your stories really just bring him up even higher for those of us who never met him.
We'll never forget him, and we'll keep his legacy alive as long as we're alive.
Yes, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. All right, well, the Clippers issued a statement today. It says, in part, the Clippers have lost a mentor, a confidant, and a friend. We are simultaneously devastated and honored to have witnessed the last chapter of Jerry West's legendary career. And of course, we have continuing coverage on Jerry West's life and legacy and his impact right here in LA and across the sports world. Be sure to stay with us here on KCAL News and KCALnews.com. We're also streaming 24/7 on CBS News, Los Angeles.
We are now saying goodbye to an LA, NBA, and Lakers icon. Jerry West died this morning with his wife Karen by his side. West was one of the most famous NBA players, and his silhouette became the inspiration for the league's logo. West started his career with the Lakers back in 1960 in Minneapolis before the team moved to LA. And during his 14 years with the team, he was a 14-time NBA All-Star and led the team to 9 NBA Finals. West went on to coach the Lakers for 3 seasons before moving into a leadership role. And after 4 decades with the Lakers, he went on to work with the Grizzlies, Warriors, and Clippers. West was 86 years old. Now here to talk more about his incredible legacy in LA and also the sports world is our sports director, Jim Hill. Thank you so much for being here. I know this is a tough day for you and the entire sports world. I was looking on social media and just seeing all of the comments saying what a great person he was, people who knew him saying he was someone that you really just wanted to be around, and he had this presence about him every time he walked in the room. So what do you want people to take away since you knew him personally about his personality and who he was?
Jerry West was a brutally honest person. I mean, brutally honest. If you didn't want the truth, then don't ask him, because he's going to tell you. He was a tremendous judge of talent. He was someone, he could be someone that was a confidant of yours, but he was also someone that you could trust. And I learned in my dealings with him that of all the descriptive adjectives that are out there, if someone trusts you, then it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I learned from him. I just learned that just if you earn someone's trust, don't do anything to, to fracture it, because once you lose that trust, that's it for that person. He was a good friend. He was a good family man. He was wonderful there were other people in other sports that would call Jerry West to try and get advice and to consult him on some of the issues that they had in baseball and football. Oh yeah, because once you're the logo, that means everyone looks up to you, and in this particular instance, everyone did look up to Jerry West.
Now, I know you knew him really well, so it's probably difficult to pick out one memory, but what is something that stands out to you when it comes to your interaction with him, when it comes to, his legacy? What's the one thing that you remember the most?
That's a good question. That's a cool one. I remember one time he said to me, when I was first getting started, he said, "Let me tell you one DAMN thing." He says,
Thank you for spelling that out.
Yes.
I got that.
Like everybody at home knows. I know. He said, when you go to a press conference, you get your butt up and sit in the front row. He said, when it's time to ask questions, you make sure you put your hand up, and you keep your hand up until they let you ask a question. Just get it up there.
And you did that.
I'm trying to do it.
You're still doing it.
No, it was just those small things. Whenever you go someplace, I don't care where you're going. He said, even if you're getting on a plane going put your shirt and tie on. And he was really adamant about that. He was adamant about helping people that he thought were going to be hard workers. And I'm so glad that I had the privilege and the honor of being in his presence for just a very short period of time. Because as I've said before, the likes of a Jerry West shall never pass our way again.
You saying that makes me think of the legacy he leaves behind, the stamp he's made in the league and obviously in other people's lives as well. What do you hope people take away from looking at his career, from looking at his life? What do you hope people gain from that?
Hard work pays off. Nothing is easy. Nothing is given to you easy. You have to work for everything that you achieve. Don't stop. Life, like sports, is difficult.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs, and you're going to get hurt, and you're going to get set back, and all these things. You got to fight your way through it. No one is going to just give you something. You've got to fight your way through it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the Almighty. And he even told me about one of my favorite sayings. He said, Jimmy, remember, you got to keep the faith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You do. You really do. He's had so many achievements in his career. What's the one thing that stands out to you the most when it comes to the stuff he's done for the league?
The thing that stands out to me, yeah, there's so much, but the thing that stands out to me is he's the logo.
Yeah.
You look on everyone's jersey in the NBA, there's a logo of Jerry West. So that tells you all you need to know about what the sport thinks about him and will continue to think about him, what the executives in the NBA would think about him, and what all of mankind thinks of Jerry West. When you put someone's logo on the uniform and everyone wears it, all the superstars, the real superstar is Jerry West.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry for your loss, but I'm sure he's looking down right now and being so appreciative of all the things that you're telling everyone who didn't know him, who get to live through him, through you.
And he will probably
memory.
say, don't forget, put your shirt and tie on if you're flying on a plane. Yeah.
And make sure you work hard.
That's right.
Because nothing's free.
That's right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
My pleasure.
it.
Thank you.
And be sure to stick with CBS News Los Angeles for continuing coverage on Jerry West's life and his legacy as well.